Hello my lovelies, welcome to your Magmaw raid guide featuring WoW Hobs. Hobbs joins me at about 4 minutes into this video. Before that it's pretty much tactics, but I hope you enjoy this guide and I hope you enjoy the collaboration. For the Magmaw normal encounter, I recommend the following tactics. Choose a ranged DPS, recommended a hunter, but if you don't have a hunter, go ahead and have a mage, shadow priest, elemental shaman, anything like that, standing on the blue square. The rest of the raid, healers, melee, and the rest of the range is going to be standing on the red X, and your tank is going to be tanking Magmaw on the yellow star. Now during the encounter, Magmaw is going to throw a pillar of flames on anybody who is greater than 5 yards ranged away from him. So as long as you only have one person standing greater than 5 yards and everybody else is within 5 yards, so on X you need to be within 5 yards of the boss, then you're fine. You know the pillar of flames will always be spawned on the one ranged person. Now the hunter who's at the blue square is going to run to the green triangle as soon as the pillar of flame spawns at their feet. Throw an ice trap just a few feet ahead of where the pillar spawned, to make sure that the parasites that spawn from the pillar of flames travel as much distance as possible on the ice trap, slowing them for the greatest amount of time. Now anybody else in the raid who has slowing effects, for example mages, DKs, or druids or chamois who can knock back the parasites, please do so. Every ranged DPS needs to be on the parasites, and all melee need to stay on the boss. If you get near the parasites, they'll jump on you and do about 14,000 damage every 2 seconds. They'll also infect you, and you'll start vomiting after 10 seconds. So they're really nasty and you need to stay away from them. So when you're on the green triangle, a second pillar of flames will spawn again at your feet, and the ranged player is going to run back from the green triangle back to the blue square, throwing a frost trap just a few feet ahead of the pillar again, and all ranged DPS is going to be on the parasites again. The raid will be taking quite a lot of AoE damage, so I recommend 3 healers. You need a main tank, and then you just need to have your off tank being DPS. It's more advantageous to have your raid range heavy rather than melee heavy for this fight. What we usually do is assign our 2 melee DPS to be doing the chains, while the rest of the range DPS can be worrying about nuking down the parasites and of course Magmaw's exposed head. About a minute and a half into your fight, Magmaw will cast a mangle ability, swallowing your tank. So the off tank you have needs to taunt, and Magmaw needs to get spiked within 30 seconds or he will fully swallow the tank, gobbling up your tank, eating him, swallowing him, so you can't get him back. While the tank is inside Magmaw, he's going to be taking a lot of damage, so don't forget to heal him. After the tank gets swallowed, half the room is going to fill up with like steam. If you're in the side of the room where the steam spawns, you'll need to run to the other side of Magmaw. Don't forget to stay within 5 yards of him though, to avoid having a pillar of flame spawned on you. Right after Massive Crash, 2 members of the raid are going to be able to use constricting chains onto Magmaw, which will target his head. So it's kind of like a vehicle arrow that comes up. Assign 2 people to do it before the raid starts. If the chains are performed successfully, the point of vulnerability at the back of Magmaw's head will be exposed to the group, and Magmaw will finally cough up the tank that he had early swallowed as long as you kept him alive. And you'll interface too. Magmaw is now stunned and doesn't deal any damage to the raid, and all damage that he takes is double, so this is where you want to go ahead and pop Heroism or Bloodlust. Remember though, if there are any parasites that are still up, they're still your #1 priority, so you want to make sure they're DPS down before you start nuking the boss. That's pretty much it for the fight. It's very straightforward. Just make sure you're always staying within your designated location, and all range, don't forget about the parasites. And here to talk about the rest of the fight, we've got the very famous WoW Hobs here visiting on my channel, so hey Hobbs, thanks for coming over.
No problem, Z. I can see you went pretty in depth on this fight. You mentioned this was an earlier kill for you. When do you think, how many times have you guys downed this so far in regular?
Oh, so far, I mean, we had it on farm, so this is our 2nd kill, actually, of it. So it was quite early on, and we were still working on some of the tactics and panicking a little bit. But he's been on farm for us for quite a while, and as you'll see later, is we're starting to finally work on him on heroic.
You gave me a little sneak peek footage of that heroic, and you said that it was a little bit of a wipe. You had about an hour to go, and you know, it's funny because I had mentioned that I had probably 2 hours worth of solid wiping footage on Chimeron, and you know, I think we're getting very, very close. Hoping tonight that our guild will down that will get us up to I think 3 out of 12. That's
very interesting, actually, that you guys have Magmaw down and not Chimeron. From what I've read, Chimeron's going to be the easier fight of the 2.
You know, and I know that, and it's funny because I think it has a lot to do. You mentioned this on my video. that we were very melee heavy, and we've got such an odd 10-man, and we've got a lot of multiple classes, so sometimes that can be a disadvantage, but they're all very good players, so you know, you can't really have them always re-roll, especially once you've made so much progress.
Yeah, you guys should get a little hunter in there somewhere to help you sort out the buffs, because I was noticing, like you said, that you have a few doubles, and so that means you're missing quite a few buffs. Do you ever have people change specs just to help with the buffs?
Oh yeah, big time. Oh yeah, like, and I think I'm the only one who doesn't. Thank goodness our DK does. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a tank, to be quite honest. But our DK tank, he goes deeps as well, and then we've got our priest, he goes deeps when not needed, so some he fights 2 heals, and you know, we have lots of variety.
Oh, something I want to point out that's happening in the video now. I died for lack of heals and stuff, and so Hybrid Panda, who's also a Machinima director, he came out to make sure that the Pillar of Flame spawned on him outside to save the range, because if he didn't run out, that means the Pillar of Flame would have spawned inside the melee camp, and that pretty much would have instantly wiped us. And so he keeps running out again when the cooldown's coming down for Pillar of Flame. You can see it coming down. Panda runs out and spawns another one out there. So just so you know, if you're a ranged person who's assigned to spawn the Pillar of Flames, he or she dies, make sure somebody else runs out to take their place.
Yeah, I've seen some of Panda's stuff. He does some really good videos as well. Lots of content.
He does. Him and Nalzi have this Laura Craft thing going on, which is really fun to watch. I always love dual commentary. That's why I'm really excited to be doing this with you, Hobbs. Like, I just think it's so much more interesting usually, you know, having 2 sides perspective.
Yeah, I mentioned this for everybody watching. We have also my version of this fight in Heroic. That we did that dual commentary, and I mentioned how it's different talking to somebody else because you have that feedback versus just talking to a mic.
Absolutely. And here coming up at the end of this video, we're going to see our best attempt of the Heroic Magmaw. We only spent 1 hour on him, and this is how well we did so far.
This is, you have a total different UI, so a lot of time has passed, and I like how you have all the numbers changed. But regardless of that, let me know a little bit about the fight on your perspective, because I really like to see it from a range point of view.
Oh, just a quick thing about the UI. I actually have a video up on my UI. It's not mine. It's a guy named Teresh who has it, which is from Tuck UI. It's an edit of his. You can find links on it on my main page on my channel. So everybody out there who wants the Hunter UI. By looking at it from my footage versus yours, as you can see, we've got a group of ranged people that are running around the room, and we have designated places where we're running. If you saw in the beginning, there was Triangle, X, and Square, and Diamond, and so we're running around and waiting for either the Pillar of Flame or the Construct to spawn, and then we move to another location. By always staying on these areas, we make sure that the parasites and the construct thing is always spawned where we want it to be spawned, because it will have, you know, fire, and of course the parasites need to be kept away from the rest of the raid. So this worked out really well for us, and this was the last try of our 1 hour we had to be pulling on it. So I think it was very smooth.
Dancing than I think we do, but we always go back to that one area. What did you get him down to?
I don't remember. Can see at the end of the thing here. I mean, not that far. I mean, we just basically passed a little bit past here on the head phase, and that was kind of it. But at least it was very smooth, and you might find that it's easy just to mark up somebody who's in the range group and then follow them around. And one other thing I wanted to add, for hunters on this fight, you do want to be survival to make sure that you have that 30% extra duration on your ice trap with the trap mastery, and of course the serpent spread, which gives you more DPS on the AoE for the parasites.
You know what, and for tanks it's an easy fight, so just let everybody else figure it out.
I'm glad it was such an easy one for you. I loved it, but as you saw from the normal...
Stand there. Oh, it was. I'm like... It's a face roll for tanks.
Yeah. Well, you gotta keep active and pop your cooldowns a lot, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah. One thing, guys, I just want to say, because I know a lot of my viewers, you came over here from the... make sure you subscribe to Z, because, I mean, she's got a... one thing I like is when people put out good regular content. If only I put out regular content, then it'd be pretty good, guys. Anyways, but that's something I'm working on, and in fact, doing this dual commentary has really been a lot of fun. So I think if you guys like it, thumbs up this video so that I'll know, because I'll be checking this video, and it will give me an indication, number one, if you want to see more of these dual commentaries in the future.
I hope you do, because they were a lot of fun to make them. So thank you so much for coming over here, Hobbs, and setting all this up. It's been a blast.
Thanks for having me. Too bad we're both on opposite ends of the world, and we can't actually do a raid at the same time, with the European and US server type of thing, right?
Indeed. We have to check into the PTR or something, see if we can't get together. Click anywhere on the screen to go to Hobbs' channel to check out his guide on Magmaw Heroic, where we talk about raid tactics and strategies for both ranged and melee during this fight. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.